station working for you. This is WRTV News at 5:30, streaming now.
And tonight here at 5:30, it could be a learning lifesaver, the program that's giving a little extra help to kids who are being told to learn from home because of the pandemic. And when you sit down to your Thanksgiving dinner next week, you might thank a Purdue grad for one of the items on the menu. Lindsay.
Topping our lineup, many people are still likely to travel despite a warning from the CDC. Google is trying to help those people stay safe, how it can help with protecting you. When a COVID vaccine is available to the public, can someone mandate that you get one? We're exploring the legal avenues surrounding that possibility. As doctors around the world reevaluate how they treat patients, one expert says the arts could help improve people's health. His group's plan to incorporate culture into medicine.
And now at 5:30, with each passing day, more and more students are attending class at their own homes through a computer screen. It comes as many schools once again close due to the rising number of COVID-19 cases across the state and revert to virtual learning. WRTV's Nicole Griffin is working for you, finding out how a local resource in central Indiana is helping families during the pandemic.
As the pandemic continues, Sylvan Learning is doing everything they can to be able to keep their doors open. That is because they know right now there are many parents out there looking for help for their students, especially as many school districts return back to virtual learning.
And that just means that there's a bossy E, and it's going to make it stand up and what?
Say its name.
Like home.
Third grader Avery used to dread going to school, but now his mother says he's excited, especially when it comes to sessions with his tutor, Hannah.
She's great. She's great. She's perfect.
From that first meeting, I really felt like, they, along with me, wanted to put him first, and they've been doing that ever since then.
Precious Mills, Avery's mom, works from home. In the spring, when school shut down, she did virtual learning with all three of her kids.
It was like a wreck coming in here just because, being frustrated with everything. But they sat down, and I think we even had shared some tears together, which was, just overwhelmed and needing help for him.
Avery now does 3 sessions a week with a big focus on improving his reading skills. Precious says he has a long way to go, but I asked her what it's like to see her son now building confidence.
Amazing. I've never been more, I told Hannah, I've never been more encouraged about his educational future since I started with Sylvan.
Avery and his siblings will transition back to e-learning next week, like many students across the state. And Sylvan wants to help parents that are looking for extra assistance. That is why on Black Friday, they're offering a special deal.
We cut our prices significantly, so that way families like Precious and Avery can come in and just have a financial burden lifted from them. We really, really understand that the coronavirus has really impacted people's lives, both educationally and financially. And this is kind of our day to say we want to help with both.
Working for you, Nicole Griffin, WRTV.
Precious says her message for other parents who have children struggling with their education is you are not alone. She knows how it can be hard for asking for help, and money can be a big issue, but she says enrolling her son at Sylvan has been completely worth it. Kyle.
And as we look ahead to the weekend here, we've made it, and we're going to get some changes working their way in. So it doesn't look like we're going to carry over those 60s with us. You already notice there's some more cloud cover out there, and that's going to kind of win the battle here as we go into the upcoming weekend. Temperatures right now, though, we will take the 60s while we can get them. 60 degrees in Indy, 61 in Kokomo, and 62 in Bloomington. That southwest breeze, not too much of a factor for us, and it will be fairly light as we go into the overnight. We look at the big picture, though, and you can see there's some cooler air. A bit of a reality check is going to be swinging our way here as we go into the upcoming weekend. And out ahead of that, there are some scattered light rain showers here in portions of Illinois. So parts of central Indiana have some brief light rain showers out there tonight. Shouldn't add up to a whole lot for us. In fact, most of us will just stay with those mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures, though, they do start their falling here as we go back into the lower 50s as we approach midnight tonight. Going into the upcoming weekend, though, we've got more widespread rain in the forecast, and it could be a healthy dose of wet weather for us, ranging from about a ½ inch to some areas south of I-70, seeing between 1.5 inches and 2 inches of rain. We're going to break down that timeline a little bit closer for your weekend plans in just a few minutes. Lindsay?
We are now possibly just weeks away from the first COVID-19 vaccine being available to select people in the U.S. Pfizer is asking the FDA today to give their emergency use authorization. Next, the FDA and outside experts meet to review the efficacy and safety data to determine if the benefits of the 2-dose vaccine outweigh any risks. If they greenlight the EUA, doses can go out immediately, but the CDC has to say to where and who first. There's a big focus on numbers during this pandemic. Public health experts, doctors, along with everyday people are constantly checking on how COVID cases are changing. Today, there are a lot of tools out there that give us a variety of information regarding cases. Some case trackers give you the number of cases in a 100-day period. Others allow you to see how many positive tests there are in comparison to the total number of tests. A lot of this information can be overwhelming, especially for those of us who are not health experts. So how do we know what information to use, and should we trust it to make decisions about our everyday life? Health experts say as long as the information comes from a legitimate source like a state health website or Johns Hopkins, it can be trusted. But to make things easier to understand, it's suggested you use just one tool to get that information.
If you're traveling somewhere, you want to be able to compare your risk at home versus your risk on the trip. It's nice to have a tool that's used in both places to measure that.
Using just one tool makes it easier to understand the situation, even if the numbers vary from tool to tool.
So you really want to find a tool that, or a website that basically has a standardized method of collecting their data and a standardized method of reporting it.
The most important information will come from the 7-day and 14-day averages. When it comes to making decisions, public health experts say it's good to be informed about cases in your area, but regardless of numbers, you should still be practicing social distancing, hand washing, and wearing a mask. Next in our lineup, many people are still likely to travel despite the warning from the CDC. Google is trying to help those people stay safe. The useful things they can help with to protect you from contracting COVID-19. Even though the CDC is recommending a very scaled down Thanksgiving and asking people not to travel, the reality is some still will. Well, there's new planning that could help keep people safe.
If you're traveling to a place maybe you haven't been to before and you're not really aware of how severe the virus is in that specific area, that will give you that information.
Google has added COVID safety features to its maps. It shows you things like new COVID cases per 100,000 people in a specific area and all-time cases. Plus, it links you to local sources for things like mandates and restrictions, information that is changing quickly. Now, once you get to a new area, Google Maps will tell you the busiest times at important places so that you can avoid crowds. For example, during the pandemic, Google found grocery stores and pharmacies are least busy on Monday mornings. Tuesdays may be a better day to go out to eat when fewer people are at restaurants.
But it's also going to give you some specific information around the health and safety protocols of that specific business. Say if it's sanitizing in between customers, if there's partitions at checkout, things like that.
And to drive as safe as possible, you can share your location with friends and family so they can check for updates and help you avoid the temptation to text. Meanwhile, people are slowing down on plans to fly, likely because of rising cases and the CDC's request for people not to travel for Thanksgiving. Airlines say bookings are dropping. Delta CEO recently pointed out that roughly 1 billion people have flown this year, and there have been less than 50 COVID cases related to air travel. Most of those happened at the very beginning of the pandemic. Well, there's still a lot of uncertainty for some businesses and jobs. The housing market is rebounding. Home sales jumped for a 5th month in a row. More homes sold in October than any other month in the last 14 years. That also means prices are up. Ultra-low interest rates on loans have helped fuel both sales and refinancing. Or in our lineup, when a COVID vaccine is available to the public, can someone mandate that you get one? We're exploring the legal avenue surrounding that possibility. People are online more than ever, doing things like shopping and ordering dinner. And that means it's crucial for business and restaurant owners to have user-friendly websites. Alexa Liaco met someone who's volunteered all of his free time to serve that need.
At the beginning of this year, the Tier 1 gaming lounge was taking off.
Business is pretty good.
But this video gamer's dream hangout was forced to close because of the pandemic.
We didn't want to just like sit there and just pay expenses and wait until we could reopen.
So Jordan used his free time fixing up the website for his family's Chinese restaurant, making a new online system
So customers go to your website and order.
It cut out third-party app fees and kept his mom's restaurant alive.
She saved like thousands of dollars every month on online ordering fees. And she was like, this is really good. You could probably do this for other businesses.
That sparked the idea for Jordan and his team to build a website called Small Neighborhood. You can order directly from local businesses' websites, sites Jordan designed for free. It's a service restaurant owner Adnan bin Mahfouz desperately needed.
Having less people dine in took away close to 75% of our business.
Adnan's restaurant, Oh Yeah Chicken and More, was barely scraping by because of COVID-19. He was hoping online orders would flood in with families quarantining at home, but then realized his website was tough to use.
Most of us are operators, we're chefs, we're really not high tech.
So Jordan revamped the website, and Adnan saw sales starting to grow.
This app actually is a long-term solution. It's a partnership.
For every order Adnan gets, Jordan collects a fee of up to 99 cents per order from the customer, a much smaller fee than any other delivery app.
Online ordering platforms, they take so much money that they can lose money on each order even after the overhead costs and like food costs and everything.
It's making sure both these small businesses can stay open in a year where family-owned stores are dwindling.
The small businesses, we are the main spine of the economy. The small pop and mom shops, whether it's a gas station, a restaurant, a laundromat, whatever it is, you know, we are the people.
In building up small businesses, then like that's what makes our cities different. Because like if there's only chains and like national chains, then everything kind of loses its flavor.
And saving the flavor each small restaurant adds to its neighborhood is a mission that means everything to Adnan.
As an immigrant who moved here 30 years ago to a different country who did not even speak the language, and now you got somebody like Jordan, whose his parents were an immigrant too, and he can feel what we're going through and trying to connect all of us together to serve and give the best service to the end user definitely is something great.
That togetherness, a beacon of hope when many are feeling alone.
Let's help each other. Let's build something together, one community at a time, one neighborhood at a time. I need my customers back. I need my family back.
And now Adnan feels more confident his business will survive to see that happen once again. I'm Alexa Liacco. Well, Purdue University is known for turning out engineers and astronauts, but did you also know a Purdue alum is credited with inventing something you may eat on Thanksgiving? The late Ruth Seams, a 1953 home economics graduate, is credited with the invention of stovetop stuffing. That product hit stores in 1971. It's not only a Thanksgiving staple, but for everyday meals as well. Purdue says the secret behind the dish is the dimensions of the breadcrumbs, which General Foods patented in 1975. Sims is listed first among the inventors, followed by 3 men. Sims grew up in Evansville and died in 2005. She worked at General Foods almost 35 years. And now there's some Thanksgiving trivia for you, Kyle. Dressing or stuffing, Kyle? Dressing or stuffing?
I've never been a big fan of either one.
Oh, I thought they were the same thing.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Just different names.
Oh, just different. Okay.
I was asking what you call it.
Oh, dressing.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. That goes right past me there.
Oh, and knocking over things as you head over to the weather wall.
Walking and talking here on a Friday afternoon doesn't work too well. Well, that was the snow stick that fell over. We haven't needed that so far this season. We're not going to need it here anytime soon, even though we may see a few snowflakes that mix in here as we go into the upcoming weekend. Not looking at any accumulation. We've got cloudy skies, 60 degrees with a southwest breeze at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Those temperatures going to be much cooler here Saturday and Sunday, only in the 40s, and we're going to have some chilly rain showers to go along with it as we break down your Saturday forecast here. There you can see some scattered showers as we start off the day. I think the first half of Saturday, the rain's going to be fairly light for us as we go into the afternoon, probably dry conditions. And then as we get into the evening, the rain will become a little more widespread. But again, temperatures not expected to get out of the 40s here. There's a look at TrueCast. 8:30 on Saturday morning, some light scattered showers again, mainly south of I-70. That's where the front will kind of be hanging out throughout the day. But then as we go into Saturday night and Sunday, There's the more widespread rain and there's the snow, but you're not going to be measuring any of that here as temperatures will quickly warm and we'll see that rain exiting. Again, could see about an inch or more of rain across the area. Temperatures cool to start next week, but we're in the 50s for Thanksgiving.
The race for a COVID vaccine appears to be on the horizon, but without large numbers of Americans getting the vaccine, the notion of herd immunity could be a challenge. As the pandemic worsens across the country, Usher Qureshi shows us how some are pondering whether people should be required to get a vaccine.
Coronavirus cases are spiking across most of the country. Hospital ICU beds are becoming scarce, and a number of states are warning of potential lockdowns.
If they don't start to bend this curve, then it is clear that we're going to have to take more difficult measures and go to a stay-at-home order.
But this week, some good news. Pfizer concluded phase 3 of its vaccine study. The two-shot course, they say, is 95% effective against COVID-19. Earlier in the week, Moderna said its vaccine is 94.5% effective.
Based upon the preliminary data that is out there, these vaccines appear to be quite safe and very, very effective at preventing COVID.
If greenlit by the FDA, one question that may arise is whether Americans should be mandated to get vaccinated. In August, Dr. Anthony Fauci weighed in.
You don't want to mandate and try and force anyone to take a vaccine. We've never done that.
According to a Pew Research survey in September, about half of U.S. adults, 49%, said they definitely or probably would not get vaccinated. That was up from 27% in May.
I think it's going to be really important to build public trust before we talk about mandating vaccines for adults or even for children.
Tan points out that none of the vaccines have been tested in children, and so school-mandated vaccines could be years away. Still, legal scholars say local vaccine mandates have historically had solid legal precedent for enforcement for more than a century.
The short answer is yes, a vaccine can be mandated under the law.
Juliet Sorensen is a professor of health and human rights at Northwestern University's School of Law. She says it's still a complex question, not just about whether a vaccine can be mandated, but whether it should.
The Constitution empowers state and local governments to take measures in furtherance of the public health, as long as there's a basis in science for doing so.
And while few are endorsing a vaccination mandate right now, as the death toll climbs, without universal mask wearing and social distancing, it could be up for further debate. Reporting from Chicago, I'm Usher Qureshi.
The pandemic has brought up questions of what jobs inmates should do and how much they should be paid. Prison labor isn't unusual, but relying on it amid a surge in COVID cases has sparked concern.
We think it's okay to put them in these risky situations while at the same time denying them access to testing and medical care and, free phone calls with their families.
That's Krish Gundu, executive director and co-founder of the inmate advocacy group Texas Jail Project. She raises objections to inmates helping move bodies to mobile morgues in El Paso County. The sheriff's office says the work is completely voluntary and inmates are being paid $2 an hour. In New York, Governor Cuomo has also used state prison labor to produce hand sanitizer. Those prisoners paid well below $2 an hour.
Is this what you would pay an essential worker who would be doing that job if you didn't have an inmate to do that job? Right? I mean, why that difference?
According to the Prison Policy Initiative, average pay for inmates across the country ranges from 14 cents to $1.41 an hour. It depends on the state and the nature of the job. El Paso County has requested the Texas National Guard mobilize to assist with the growing coronavirus crisis. If and when that happens, the sheriff says the inmates will stop helping move bodies. Finally in our lineup, as doctors around the world reevaluate how they treat patients, one expert says the arts could improve people's health. His group's plan to incorporate culture into medicine. Making arts and culture part of a person's medical treatment could help their long-term health. Researchers at the University of the Arts Helsinki in Finland say arts and culture in their country are a constitutional right. They say the arts contribute to the health and well-being of society beyond just treating disease and illness. Kai Lehikoinen says incorporating arts and culture in treatment allows medical professionals to use more of their own creativity. It also helps create a more open way of discussing things with a patient.
The staff members in hospitals could actually take advantage of their already existing cultural competencies or artistic competencies and bring that into their everyday work.
Kai says his team developed an outline of more than a dozen recommendations for hospitals to include arts and culture. And some of those recommendations include developing a cultural well-being plan, making arts and culture a strategic core value, hiring a cultural welfare coordinator, and keeping records of the cultural needs and wishes of patients.
Participation in the arts can enhance health and functional capacity of people. It can prevent loneliness and social exclusion, which consequently have positive impacts on mental health.
To describe how the arts can help people of all backgrounds, Kai uses an example of having elderly patients take part in some sort of dance therapy. He says it gets them up and moving as much as their body will allow. It stimulates their thinking and imagination and gives them a sense of social engagement. Active shooter drills in schools help students know exactly how to huddle together to keep each other safe, but COVID has changed that.
In a world of COVID, boy, does that change how we train. But it doesn't mean we don't train.
Monday, the new ways schools have found to get their message across so kids know what to do in an emergency.
Well, brace yourself for the weekend here. It's going to feel a whole lot different Saturday and Sunday with highs only in the 40s, and we'll have that rain most widespread Saturday night into the first half of our Sunday, and then we'll keep those cool temperatures into early next week. But it does warm up just a little bit here with some rain on Wednesday, and we got highs in the middle 50s for Thanksgiving. Right now, looks like it should be dry. Thanks for joining us here at 5:30. Stick around. The news at 6 starts.